All right, so hello everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is the Career Pivot Strategies, How to Direct Your Career Path and Thrive. My name is Jay Liwanag. I'm a career advisor here at the Costello College of Business. Excuse me. I've been through many career transitions, so this is an exciting topic for me because I know that it's possible. Number one, it's definitely possible, and it's something that is important for all of us to think about because there's a lot of opportunities that are out there with the skills and the experiences that each of you have already experienced and hopefully will experience even further into the future. We're really fortunate today to have Flore Dorcely-Mohr with us. She is a senior talent acquisition. Is that correct?
I'm the senior manager for campus and early careers recruiting at Maximus.
So she has a lot on her plate on that end, and we really appreciate her taking the time today to help us as we discuss this topic. We're going to be very informal, especially since it's a small group. I'm going to just submit one more person in, since it's a small group, and feel free to stop us at any time. I will be sharing these slides with you, so you will have them to go back and look at. So we're going to start with a little bit of introductions. We'll have a discussion on what career pivots is and what you should be thinking about. And then we'll have some resources that will show you and the services that we have in the future so we can help you as you continue on this journey. To begin with, I'll start with my name again is Jay Liwanag. My current role is a career advisor and adjunct faculty member here at the Costello College of Business. I am here to help individuals like yourself with anything dealing with careers and movement. So hopefully today's not the last time that we see each other. So Gohar, Jen, and Hussam, don't ever hesitate to reach me at our office if we can help you with anything as it relates to career development. Experiences with career change, as I said, I changed multiple times. I was working in Wall Street during the 9/11 timeframe. It really changed my whole perspective and was the first time, to be honest, in my career where I kind of thought maybe it was time for a career pivot. As you all know, if anyone of you lived through that time frame or was working through that time frame, it made all of us kind of change the way that we were looking at life. So I was able to pivot and move, and I was actually even interviewed by a newspaper, and I was thinking in terms of, after a tough year, thinking in terms of legacy. And what I told myself is I wanted to move to a nonprofit or an education setting. And I did exactly that. I moved on to a nonprofit. It was a rather large nonprofit. And I really saw quickly how I was able to use my consulting skills and all the experience I had in business, working in New York, working in Silicon Valley, to be able to transition to a different type of job in a different place. And then I moved and I went on to higher education. So there was a lot of switches in that. And then I did international development. So there's a lot of different things where I kind of pivoted and changed based not only on my interests, but also sometimes on life changes and things that are happening in your life that really make you, things that are forced, like 9/11, and other things that aren't as forced, kind of looking for more balance and wanting to do something totally different. Regardless of why you are here, making a career shift is a good thing. It's something that all of us will probably experience at least once in our life, most likely more than once. Hopefully, you'll be able to navigate it as you pursue that switch. So I'm going to turn it over to Flore to tell her story.
Yes, thank you. It's funny, Jay, because I had a career pivot also around the 9/11 time because I had actually adopted my first child and I wanted to also spend some time at home with her. I was in Wall Street as well. It did make me kind of think, wow, New York may be kind of a dangerous place. I mean, there's danger everywhere. So I wanted to be home. And luckily, my employer allowed me to do that. So that was my first time really seeing how having the freedom and flexibility to work from home was helpful for me to achieve that balance that I was looking for. My daughter has special needs, so it was really important for me to be able to be with her. And I had an employer that was understanding. I was able to show that I had the ability to do the work still and not have to be in the office the whole time. I'll explain a little bit about what I do first. So, as the senior manager for campus and early careers recruiting, I manage the internship program. I do some of the early careers hiring and strategizing at Maximus. Maximus is a global government services consulting company. We also do technology solutions. We actually have fairly strong partnership with George Mason, and I'll be coming on your campus fairly soon for the career fair happening in a few days. I really love the work that I do. I am 100% remote. My whole team is remote. We don't have an office, so we are always on the move and mobile. And I remember when I made the shift from higher ed to go to the employer side, because I spent about 15 plus, almost 20 years in higher ed, working in career services. So I was doing what Jay's doing now with a team of my own. I made it up to the senior director level, and my next move was going to be like associate VP, assistant VP, something like this. And I remember feeling, I really don't want to go there. I really like working with students more than I like the other stuff, which is more political, in my opinion, and just felt less like me. And I remember thinking, if I could ever do it, I want to do it remotely, because at the time, even though I was one of my campuses was a fully online campus, I still had to go into the office. I still felt that imbalance. And then the pandemic hit, and I was like, oh, did I pray too hard? Because now everyone's remote, not just me. But it was a glorious opportunity. And so what I want to say about pivoting really is that it's more than about your skill set. I think it's also about your mindset. Literally, if you can conceive it, you can achieve it. Anything is possible. I genuinely believe that. And I've seen it manifested in the students that I've helped, in my own family, in my personal life, obviously. If you are wanting to do something in your life, everything starts within you, and nothing outside can compare to that. So I want to start off there. And then, Jay has prepared in the presentation, so I won't take up too much of your time, but I do want you to be encouraged. Whatever it is, it's not impossible. Don't listen to what other people say. Because if I did, I would never do anything. And I've had a lot of career pivots. I'm just letting you know about the last two. I have been on unemployment. I have, collected welfare. I have, worked in a factory. I have done a lot of different things, in my life. And I just always really believed that if I wanted it, I could find a way to make it happen.
I love that, Flora. I really loved how you said, if you can achieve it, if you can achieve, you can see.
Yeah, if you can believe it,
Believe,
you can
believe,
achieve it.
believe it,
It
you can
really
achieve
starts
it.
with your belief.
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
have to really be almost ruthless about our belief systems, because a lot of great momentum and ideas stop right there because we really genuinely don't believe it. And until that mind shift happens, it becomes very difficult to even go any further than that. It's less about skill set as it is mindset, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I love how you said mindset too, because like you mentioned about, whether you were laid off and everything. And I myself also was in that situation just this past year. The mindset plays a key role as you look at any
It's
type of
huge.
pivot. Because when you look at the pivot, it actually, if you've changed the mindset to like, oh my gosh, I need to find a job, or I need to switch, or I want to do this, or I'm never going to find this.
Or how
But
about this saying, if you just say, this is so hard, it's so
yeah, it's so
hard.
hard. It's going to take so much
Is it hard?
time.
It's not hard. Don't
Exactly.
say that. Say it's
And
easy. Yeah.
that's easy. I wish I said
Yeah.
that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Easy, and it's also an opportunity. It
Yes.
really, I think most of the people that I've worked with that have done career pivots, I'd say maybe 98% of them would say that they are better off.
Oh,
So that's
yes.
my hopes for each of you as
Me
you guys
too.
are taking a look at things. So we want to give you each a moment to tell us a little bit about you, because it'll help us as
Yes.
we have these discussions on sharing your name, your concentration background, if you're still currently in school, and what you do now and what you hope to transition to do. Does anyone want to start? You can put yourself off
I'll
mute.
Yay.
I'll go
Okay, Jen.
first.
Thank you,
Yes.
Jen.
So, my name is Jen Reef. I started as an engineer. I went to Virginia Tech, got a couple degrees in engineering, did that for a few years, took a break for a little while, and then I've had a few pivots. I was a small business owner for a while. I worked for a local school system for a while, and that's actually where I am now. I started doing a lot more work with data. So now I'm back at George Mason getting a graduate certificate in data analytics. I'm really
Nice.
interested in getting more into data science and data modeling, and that's
Excellent.
where I am now. Looking to get back really to my technical and analytical roots. So it's kind of a full circle for me, kind of getting back to where I started from. And
I love
that's
it.
pivoting again to get back to where I started.
That's awesome.
Perfect
That's really
timing.
good.
This is the hottest field ever. You are on a winning streak right now. This is beautiful. And like I said, every change, don't look at it as a challenge. Find the gift in that because there always is. So I mean, you couldn't have picked a better field at this point. There are so many opportunities in data science. Good for you. Okay, who's next? I'm excited by this.
I can go next.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gohar Taylor. Um, I'm majoring in global affairs with a concentration in media communication and culture.
Mm.
Currently, I am area manager for home health. That was one of my career transition I did after COVID. I was working in hospitality for about 10, 13 years,
Wow.
but
Wow. What a shift. That's amazing.
I did about everything you can think of and let's call it timeshare. I've sold them, I've booked them, I've took them back, just anything you could possibly think. But during COVID, I worked remotely and quite honestly, it became very stressful because every second
Mm,
call was about COVID, how stressful it is, how they want to sell it. I mainly work with the owners. Obviously,
hmm
you could tell. So it became not fun. It was
Yeah.
stressful, and it was time for me to exit timeshares.
Yes. Yes. And you made that transition. You successfully
Um,
moved from hospitality to now something completely
health,
different.
completely different. And Flore, I just want to applaud to you because you had said something that I've known since I was a little kid, which is visualizing. If you can believe it, visualize it, you'll definitely achieve it. Everybody till today, they're like, how did you move from hospitality to health? I took a Medicare license course on a Christmas day. That's how desperate I was, like, because they ask me, they're like, there's only one. But anyway, to get to the point, I had pivoted, so I moved out of timeshare hospitality into health industry. And thanks God to that move, I was able to elevate my salary. And now I'm in school because my long-term goal is to work for government. I'm fluent in 3 languages and I
Yes.
want to be on an international, I guess that's why I'm learning global affairs, just
Yes.
work for a
Perfect.
government, state, federal, doesn't matter. Just
Yes.
use political, my languages, my culture knowledge,
hmm
just work for the government and just that's where I'm at. So
That,
thank you for
that's
listening.
I love it.
yeah,
Another excellent career
opportunity.
choice made because outside of data science, I would say health is never going to die. Never. You will never have a problem. I mean, I can't tell the true future, of course, God, please, don't make me a liar. But at every era, right, we have seen health, and especially during the pandemic, you saw who were the essential workers? They had a job no matter what, and that's the health. So
Yeah,
again, I want to encourage you for you guys' insight and you just really kind of paying attention to yourself, and saying not everyone would make the choice you made, Gohar. After seeing what was going on, it's something special within you that said, you know what, I can do this, and this is my time. Good for you. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jay.
yeah,
I'm
no,
excited,
no, no, and go hard too with the government. What we were saying about international and using your languages,
Yes.
it's easy for people today to be like, I don't want to go to government because of everything that's going on in the world.
Right.
But I think that I came from government contracting, and I think that there is an opportunity there because there's going to be not only people that are retiring and leaving, but people that have decided not to go that path anymore. There's going to be a shortage of individuals
Mhm,
that have those
mhm,
skills, like you said, especially the language skills,
mhm,
and
mhm,
it's going to open doors hopefully for you in the
mhm.
coming. So it's a good path to think about. So thanks for sharing
Absolutely.
that.
Thank
Yes,
you.
absolutely.
Husam, would you like to
Yeah.
share quickly?
Hello, how
Thank you.
y'all doing?
Hello, good. How
Good,
are
good.
you?
I'm good, I'm good.
Tell us
So
about your story a little bit.
I did my undergrad in statistics from the University of Virginia. Dibble dabble in some data science and statistical
Nice.
analysis as well. Then I made a pivot to like AML and financial operations, but I'm trying to find a way either back into data analytics or continue with finance. I'm currently pursuing a master's in finance at George Mason. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Yeah, so
Very nice.
currently
Well,
navigating
what is AML, please? Tell me, I'm not sure I know.
anti-money laundering, like risk compliance.
Oh, very nice. Okay. So what I can say to you, you went exactly where the money resides, is what you did. You made a direct, because statistical analysis, data science to some extent as well, and looking at the field in which basically finance, where people are in the business to make money, is a direct line to that field. Okay, so studying that is going to for sure give you that mindset, that skill set. Sorry. The pivoting part, I don't know if you heard what I said before, is where you're going to focus your mindset on where it is, who you need to be around. Who has the opportunity that you're looking for so that when you're presented with that opportunity, you don't talk yourself out of it. You don't think, oh, maybe this isn't it, or you don't somehow miss it because you don't recognize it. I worked in Wall Street. Never in a million years would I have thought when I was in college that I would be working on Wall Street. I didn't think that would have never, I'm not a math person. I'm not a math person, is what I would always say. But I was working with Japanese banks in Wall Street for 2 years and made
Nice,
tons of money, tons
nice.
of money. Okay. So it is possible. It is just like what Jay is going to share with you, I think, in these slides is really going to give you some of that setup for your mindset to be open to those opportunities that are going to come to you. And what I found is when I was ready to make a pivot, it wasn't like, oh, I'm ready to make a pivot and then phew, I was able to do it. Two things happen. I commit myself and I'm presented with all kinds of opportunities that are not what I'm looking for. It's more of the same, very easy. I could just continue to do what I was doing. And they would be very attractive. They'd be like more money or higher title or very interesting. And that was to me just a test to see, are you really trying to change? Or do you want to just stay the same? And then I would get the other opportunities as well. It was like, I'm not sure if this is it, but it's different than what I'm doing. And you just have to be patient, but also focused on doing the things that will prepare you. Basically, act as if you already have it. Because if you already have it, what would you be doing? And that's sort of how I became the recruiter that I was looking for. I thought I was going to retire in higher ed. 15, almost 20 years. I didn't think I was going to move again, not during a pandemic, especially everybody's losing their jobs. It didn't make logical sense. Why are you switching? You're comfortable there. You're going to be a VP. What? My husband was like, are you crazy? And I said, maybe, but I'm just going to put myself among those people that need to know who I am. And let's stay open to what those possibilities are because you're going to get a lot of other things coming in. It's going to make it very easy for you to stay where you are. But the clearer you are about exactly what you want to do, who you think about all of those details. Who do you want to do it with? How would you meet them? What would you be wearing? Where would you be having lunch? All of those things. The reality becomes more and more your life as opposed to in your head in a dream.
Yeah, and
Okay.
what Flore just shared for all of you actually. So she used the word clarity. I think clarity and self-awareness when you're making the pivot is very, very huge because you got to have the clarity of what you're potentially looking to pursue. You don't have to know everything, but that clarity and then the awareness that this is something that might jazz me and might give me an opportunity to do the things that I love. And am I willing to take a pay cut to do that? Am I willing to make a shift and move if I have to move to do that? You have to ask yourself all these different questions and be aware of you and what you're comfortable doing. The answer to those questions might be yes, they might be no. And that's going to change the way that you approach that shift and looking for the opportunities. And we're going to share with you a little bit later, and I'm going to send it to you all, a career pivot worksheet that talks about some of the things to think about as you're channeling through these different venues.
Yes, I just also wanted to add, and this is just to share with everybody. When I was in timeshares, when I was working during COVID, I had to have 2 jobs. And I said to myself, if I can just make what I'm making now with 1 job, so I can go to school and pursue what I wanted to do from day one. And here I am, literally 3 years later, living that dream. I put it on my vision board. So vision board does work. If anybody ever did it or didn't do it, please make a vision board and put exactly what you want to accomplish, whether that's pictures, words, and put it where you can see it daily.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Thank you.
Let's talk about.
So the career pivots, this is just a definition. We don't have to tell you this. This is really where it is. It's whatever its direction. A pivot is, again, it's a meaning. This is a key word. It's a meaningful change. So again, as Flore was saying, and some of you have already mentioned, it's something that you really want to do. You kind of feel that drive. Like some of you said, that moving from data science, you moved out of data science, and now you want to move back to data science. That's great self-awareness to understand that and to know that. And it requires thought, again, a lot of thought and careful planning. So it's not something you can just jump into and be like, oh, yes, vision boards are good and you should do vision boards, but you got to work towards that. This is just a video from LinkedIn Learning. It's on finding a job, switching roles or industries.
It used to be that we find a job and then stay in that job for a long time. Today, we're switching jobs every few years, sometimes by choice and sometimes not. So adopting the mindset always be job hunting is the #1 thing I tell people. Whether you're happy where you are, passively looking, or need something new yesterday, it's only to your benefit to know what's going on in the job market. And that's what we're going to do in this course, get you prepared to find a job that fits your skills and, more importantly, one that makes you happy. Hi, I'm Jolie Miller, and in addition to heading business content at LinkedIn Learning, my passion is helping people advance their careers. This is what I do even if I didn't get paid for it. In this course, we'll take a look at how you can write a compelling resume and cover letter that cut through the noise. We'll also discuss tips for unique situations like layoffs or coming back to work after a hiatus, and the best ways to tailor your branding to each employer so you can set yourself apart. Plus, I'll show you how to sharpen your interview skills, negotiate an offer you're proud of, and prepare for day one at your new gig. So let's get started.
But that whole course is actually a very good course because it gives back to the basics of things, especially if you haven't looked for an opportunity in a while, or even if you have, it gives you some more intel on things of what's going on out there. So this is just things that we've already talked about, some of these things. And I'm going to show you some of the resources that we have at the Career Center in terms of reflecting on strengths and interests. We have so many inventories. Some of you might have already taken a bunch of different assessments out there, like the Strength Finders, MBTI, and other stuff. There's so many things that are out there that really help you as you're making that pivot and making that switch, because it validates more of what your strengths are and what your interests are. And it allows you to see some, you might even end up seeing something from those assessments that you didn't even think about. Like Hussam, you mentioned about the roles made, whether you go to data science, back to data science, or in the financial role. Some of these tools, we're not going to have time today to show you all of it, but it might be able to help you think more of like, wow, this resonates even further. So it's part of the whole research process to that. Brainstorming and researching potential new careers. There's so many things that are out there where you can find things. So maybe even in data science, I used to be a manager that had to hire people in data science. There are different types of organizations and types of places that require that skill set. So you have to, again, as Flore mentioned earlier, look at things, research things, brainstorm things, and look at the different opportunities that are there that even might have not been something that you might have not even thought about. Filling the gaps and building the skills. So maybe you are making a total switch. Gohar mentioned what she did when she was going into the healthcare. She literally went out there and took a course that she I think you mentioned you didn't have too much knowledge and ideas in, but you took it and it really opened the door for her avenue to make that career switch that she made at that time. So there's a lot of things out there where you can do to build your skills. And I'll show you some of those that you might be already aware of, but there's a lot of things out there. And then networking, we always talk about that. I like the word connections better than networking. I think the key when you are looking for new opportunities, especially when you're doing a career pivot, is to connect with the people that are doing the work that you believe that you might want to go to. And majority of them you'll find, and I know that I've had people come to me many times when I was in different parts of my career, they're gonna want to talk to you. They're gonna be curious, and then they might even create a job for you. That actually literally happened for me. I was connecting with people when I was making my career switch, and I connected with them. I wanted to go back into business after I left and went to higher education. I asked them if I could have lunch with them. They took me out to lunch, and I thought I was going to have just a lunch with them, and I was going to ask them these questions about their career and so forth. They happened to bring the president of the company with them because she had to eat as well. And it was a small consulting firm, women owned. It was great. And all of a sudden they're sitting there talking to me about, hey, would you be interested in doing this? And I was like, wow, I never thought about that, but tell me more. Tell me more. And it worked that way. So can't guarantee that's going to happen to you, but making those connections, you could have an opportunity like that as well, instead of saying no or not even pursuing that. And then finally, this is the biggest thing, is for all of us, and you all are taking that step right now by being here today, for listening to us speak here, but it's taking that leap, just going for it and going for it. And again, as Flora mentioned, believing that you can take that leap. Anything else, Flora?
Yeah, no, I love what you said about, being open to what the possibilities could be. I have a similar story, if I can just share really quickly. I was working for an environmental engineering firm in the New Brunswick area, New Brunswick, New Jersey area. And at the time, I had to leave college because my dad lost his job. And, I was just sort of almost lost because I had 9 credits left to finish my bachelor's. And it seemed like I was in this yo-yo of like when I had the time, I didn't have the money to go back to school. And when I had the money, I didn't have the time. I was too busy. I got this job through a friend, working as an administrative assistant for an engineering firm. It was a small firm. And at the end of the first year, the owner took me to lunch and was asking me, if I was happy. And I said, yes, I am. And he said, what would make you happier? And I said, well, I'd really love to finish my degree. And he said, done. Go and enlist at Rutgers, enroll, and then bring me the bill and I'll pay it. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, let's do it because you're doing such a great job. I want to keep you. Right. And I said, fantastic. So I went 9 credits away, did all those 9 credits at Rutgers, straight A's because I wasn't messing around. He wrote the check as he promised the very next day after I showed him that I had enrolled. And I stayed with him for a whole nother year. It was done in a year. So the years come back. He has lunch with me again. He says, so are you happy? And I said, yes, I am happy. And he said, how can we make you happier? And I said, well, could give me more money. I'd like a raise. And he was like, would you like to be an engineer? And I said, no, that's not my ministry. I cannot, you don't want me to be an engineer. I said, I'm not ready for that. I don't have the skill set for that. I really didn't want to do that. And he was like, so what you're saying is you would like for me to give you more money, but you're not happy and you're probably going to leave. And I said, well, what I'm saying is you can determine how long I stay. Right. So he was like, wow, okay. And, he did give me an increase, but at that moment, I could have stayed there. But at that moment, I started looking for my next because I knew it was only a matter of time. Luckily, I was able to, and it's not luck because obviously we do our work, right? I was applying. I was still doing a good job. He was still trying to convince me to become an engineer. And I was like, I'm not doing it. I found a job, gave my notice, and the day I did, he said, whatever they're paying you, I'll double it. And I said, I would love to do it, but I've already found my replacement. So I want to introduce you to my friend. and I did him right because I gave him somebody who was amazing. She was really good, but I created the conditions that I knew I needed so that I could leave because in my mind, the whole time that I was working with him, I never forgot that I didn't finish my degree. And I wanted that so badly that when he offered, what else can we do to make you happy? I wasn't thinking about anything else. And so I just want you to also kind of think about it like that in a way, right? Taking that leap is more than just, kind of making a decision. It's also just really letting the universe just open up all of the possibilities and thinking if I didn't have any restrictions, what would I need to make this happen? So I don't know if that even answered your question. I don't know where I was going with that, but I
Yeah, that's
thought of
great.
that story because again, it was another pivot that I had to make. Believe it or not, I was just trying to figure out how can I finish my degree when I knew I didn't have the financial resources. It just seemed so out of reach for me. And, the kind of opportunity came sort of out of nowhere.
Yeah, and it's making most of that opportunity. So you could be in, I was working with another student the other day, and they were saying how miserable they were at work and they didn't have opportunities. Then they talked about another department or a mentor that they found at another department that really you could see their face light up and how it jazzed them up. And quite sure they were like, well, when am I going to find time to meet with them? Or my boss doesn't want me to work on cross projects. He went and he had coffee with this individual. He started to talk to them. They built a rapport. He started to find opportunities, and he was able to eventually make a pivot to another part of the organization and had an ally in that individual. And it was a totally different place. It's for him, he thought he had to make a pivot and just leave totally. But instead, he fortunately opened his eyes and started to see, wait a minute, there's something inside too. I just don't like working where I am currently internally in the organization. So that can be part of the leap too. And that's part of the whole discernment process and looking at where do I go. These are just questions to think about, really, if you haven't already thought about it. But if you've already thought about it, reflect even further on it. Ask your friends and families and colleagues. That's something we often don't do, where we don't ask our trusted advisors out there. Like I have an internal board of advisors. They consist of my mentors, my friends, people that I really respect. And I always go to them when I have to make these hard decisions. So they validate and they help me see what I'm good at. What do I really, they see that I get excited when I'm doing certain things and when I get upset when I'm doing something that I really don't like doing. And then they wonder, why am I staying at a job that I really shouldn't stay at? So those are the people that you trust, that you can go to, that can give you extra eyes and ears, because sometimes you can't see things. Sometimes you're blinded. You might get an offer that you're making double what you're making now, but then you don't really think about it and be like, man, I really wouldn't enjoy that, or I'm not really good at that, but I'm going to take it because it's just so much money. So think about that as you look at your skills through that inventory.
Can I also add to this, Jay? If you
Yeah.
don't have someone that you trust, that knows you, go to the Career Center. I love GMU's Career Center. I don't do these evening events all the time for anybody. This is after my workday and I started at 6. I really trust and believe in this center. They have great professionals, and let them be your eyes and ears and give you a different perspective maybe than what you might think within yourself.
Yeah, and we're here for you all, and it's a lifetime. It's lifetime. So even after you graduate and finish your programs,
who does
we're
that?
here
A
for
lot
you.
of schools don't do that. They give
They
you a
don't.
limit,
They make
you
you pay.
graduate, and they make you pay. Lifetime career services is very, very rare. So take advantage. Yeah.
So that, again, really, and part of what I'll show you when we give you the career pivot worksheet, looking at different, not only the assessments that I mentioned to you, but looking at what are the different industries and job roles that are out there, even within a specific field like data science. And then realistically kind of looking at how does that match with who you are, what you bring to the table. Exploring the salaries, that's important, because if I'm not willing to take a certain cut, then why am I even taking the time to pursue a certain opportunity? You got to really be realistic in your head. Use AI and all the different things. So there's a LinkedIn Career Explorer, which I think I'll be giving you a link to that if you haven't used it before. It's a great way to explore different titles, different careers, and what are the key skills that are behind those careers.
I was listening to, if you haven't heard of this guy, his name is Charlie Rocket. They also call him CEO Charlie. Look him up. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. He's on LinkedIn. I'm sorry, he's on Instagram, he's on YouTube. Okay, he recently did it, and he said, I hate it when people tell me I have to be realistic. He said, in fact, what I intend to be instead is positively delusional. I have to agree with him because, in many ways, the things that I would tell my husband and my family that I'm doing, they would say, you're delusional. Something's wrong with you. You're not being realistic. Unfortunately, when people are pioneers, they're going to get that pushback. It's normal. It's normal. And many times the things that you say to other people who haven't done it, it's going to seem like it's crazy. You can't do it. No, be realistic. But I'm going to encourage you to be a little bit delusional in your dreams. Dream big, huge, okay? So that they are saying, "Oh, this one's delusional. She really thinks she's going to be able to, or he really thinks he's going to do whatever it is, because
Go.
it's not impossible." Go hard. Yes, go
Yeah.
ahead.
I kind of feel you talking about me, so I do want to tell you when I was back home in Soviet Union, it was almost impossible to come to America. So when I was telling everybody, well, I'm just going to America, I'm going to be living in America one day, driving my own car, having my own business, and people like, you don't even have relatives in America. How are you going there? I'm like, watch me. So literally, according to you, yes, I was delusional. Only my best friends, they're like, listen, when you go to America, just make sure, give me an invitation. But most people, they thought I was crazy. They're like, you crazy. I'm like, listen, if you don't dream, if you're not dreaming, that you're not living. I did move to America.
I
That's
love
all.
it.
Thank you.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful.
We actually can give you some of these inventories. Like I can give you the Clifton strengths. We also have the strong interest inventory as well as MBTI. But on the ONET, the interest profiler, where I'll show you that, it really allows you to kind of look at the different interests that are out there and exploring the different careers based on those interests. And again, you can set up a meeting with our staff here where we can go into detail on that for you too.
These are great
And
resources. I'm telling you, if you were trying to get this on your own, it would be a lot of money.
yeah,
A
they're
lot
free.
of money for
They're
career
free.
coaching. And these are free. You already paid for it. Let me say that they're not free, but you already paid for it, right? So use them because they're great for giving yourself insight as to what you really want to do and what you're really good at and what comes naturally. It will be confirmation for you.
And
So,
then
yes.
it prepares you for the interviews too, because like for instance, with the strengths, when you know your strengths and you can articulate it to the person that you're speaking to, especially as you're making that career transition, it's going to resonate with them, and they're going to
Yes.
see like, wow, this person knows what they're doing. They know
Yes.
what they want, where they want to go.
Yes.
I want them to be part of my team.
Hmm.
So this is another great path here for building skills. We talked about the skills that you might be missing. So maybe you're changing careers totally. You want to do something different. Just again, like Gohar mentioned, how she took that course. There's job simulations on Forage, where or maybe you want to get up to speed more on what's going on with data science, and even if you're good at it already. So you can go into places like Forage, which I'll show you. And then Parker Dewey is a micro internship. So again, if you want to get more skills and say, hey, I'm interested in working, like I used to work at PwC, the PwC has some micro internships on there. So I could actually take that and I could even add it onto my resume once I finish it.
And get
And
paid to do it. And get
exactly,
paid. They start at like
exactly.
$25 an hour.
Yeah, yeah.
Good money. Yes. And many of them are remote.
For sure. And then as a George Mason student, you have full access to LinkedIn Learning. Again, you don't have to pay extra for it. It's full access there. We have Coursera, Udemy, and so forth. So take advantage of these. I'll send this to you so you'll have the links, but it can help you build the skills that you might have to continue to build or continue to grow on.
Jay, do you know if you guys have Going Global, that
I'm
resource?
not sure. I'm not sure. I'll have to look that in, but
Check
yeah.
check that out. If you have it, go hard. That's a fantastic,
Yeah.
fantastic resource for anyone that wants to do like international relations, global business, like what you were talking about. And if GMU doesn't have it, see if you have a friend at UVA or at any of these other schools. I heard Hussam is an alum. Maybe you guys get together, okay? And find out because it's an excellent resource. It is literally GoinGlobal. Going Global.
This I don't have to say to you. Again, we talked about this a lot. And just doing things, all the different events that not only our school has, but something that people forget to do is look at meetups in the industries that you're at. Again, when I was doing transitions, I did a meetup on agile management because I was doing a lot of work with agile. So I literally went to probably a meetup meeting once a week. I made lifelong connections. I still, even though I'm not even in that industry anymore, I'm getting messages from people in that industry. I'm getting them sending me job opportunities that I can send off to my peers that I know that are still looking in that. So take advantage of it. DC, Washington, DC metro area, if you're still living in this
Oh
area,
my God.
so much opportunity.
Fantastic opportunities. And the other thing is, as a student, take advantage of it. You can join some of these industry associations for a song. Sometimes they will let you volunteer for things, because they know that you're a student. So use that, leverage that to your abilities.
This is just things that you definitely go out there, do it, believe in it, go towards it. So this is something that some people forget to do. When they're making a switch and a change, they think like, why should I let other people know? One of the best things you can do is, even whether you're on social media or not, or wherever, at least on LinkedIn, let people know what you're looking for towards. Your network is your best friend. I literally did this when I lost my job. The first time this year, I was a DEI manager at Diversity, Equity, Inclusion. I knew I was going to lose my job, pretty sure. And then when I lost, all I did was I posted something quickly onto my network and I said, I'm in the process of putting some thought into making a change. Here are the things that I believe I want to do. Any support, any help you can provide is greatly appreciated. I literally got like several emails within minutes of posting that. One that ended up leading to an actual job. Again, if you don't put it out there, people will not know. You need people to know that. So I know sometimes people are scared to do that because, especially if you are currently working somewhere,
Yeah, that's
you
the
might not
only
want
thing. That's when it
your
gets a
current
little
employers
dicey.
to see it.
Right.
But if there's a way, whether it be even on your personal social media or personal email network, to send to those people, make sure that they know about it because they know people that you don't know that can possibly help you. So that's just something. Here's a sample post of what you could do. So as we know, finding a job oftentimes is like a full-time job. A lot of looking at things. So really setting realistic expectations and goals. Take a break sometimes. Make sure you're doing things that you enjoy and that you love physically, mentally. Focus on your self-care because the mental well-being is very, very important. Especially when you have those downturns. So maybe there's those downturns where you're not hearing from anybody or you're getting a bunch of no's. Mm-hmm. Take a break and make sure you take care of yourself. Yeah. And this is something, number 4, people always forget to celebrate the small wins. They have so much of their eye on the big prize. Mm-hmm. But what are those small wins? The small victories along the way that you have. You receive positive feedback from someone. You got an informational interview from a very high quality company or person. Yeah. Again, as I was alluding to before, don't be afraid to seek support. Lean on the people that you know.
Yeah, I love everything that was there. I do feel that sometimes, like you said, it can seem hard. We have to remember to keep our spirit high. Because when you do that, you're able to see more. We shut ourselves down when we're in a depressed state and we're not open and able to see the possibilities, right? So that's why it's so important to keep that positive frame of mind. Play a song, or take a bubble bath. I'm a very tactile person, so I need to have fresh flowers. I need to smell that perfume. I need to, have an experience that allows my senses to be happy so that when I am in front of the person that is going to make a decision that will be a positive influence for my progress, I can be at my highest sense of, positivity. Only you can do that for you. What puts you in that high vibe, they call it vibration. It's true, right? That puts you in that high vibration state because now you're going to attract all those good things into that energy field. Okay. I know it sounds woo, I'm sorry, but it's what has worked for me. So I just want to tell you that.
So this is one of the links. I'm not going to go through it all, but when you go to that link, It's again, discovering your work-related interests and exploring career options that are good fits for you. So what it does is think about how much you like to do a various activity. It'll tell you different things, see what your answers reveal about your work interest. It'll go into that. It's very simple to start. You can explore different career interest profiles, and it'll go through that. It's a very simple process. If you have trouble with it, let me know, and we can meet and we can, go through it together. But that's just one of the examples. Here's another thing. Oh, I mentioned Forage. How many are you guys all familiar with Forage? No? Okay. So for those of you that are, what's really good here aren't. You can go to Explore and you can do different job simulations and career paths. I might want to do a job simulation, so I'll go into there. It has all these different companies that have all these simulations. And what I can do now is I can actually even also explore different career paths, but I can also look here under career interest, and it gives me all the things. So whether it be banking and finance, career development, consulting and strategy, I can click on that and it's going to give me things specific to that area. So it's a very powerful tool. I would definitely use it, especially if you want to upskill or reskill in certain things. I'm going to send this to you in a Word file so you can type into it and you can utilize it. It allows you to identify your ideal job titles and keyword discoveries using LinkedIn Career Explorer, also the ONET interest profile that I showed. And then we can give you Clifton strengths if you want it. And also using AI, as you all know, just like listing job titles that match with blah, blah, blah experience, because maybe there's something that you didn't see before, or maybe you already saw it, but you want to make sure that you're targeting it. Again, it's having that plan and having that action plan. Assessing your current skills, so using all these different links to assess what skills you have. What are your transferable skills? This is very important when you're looking at things. So out of all those skills that you have, which ones do you believe strongly would transfer to the industry or the type of job that you're looking at? And hopefully you'll find at least 5 of those. Skills that are relevant to your target career. So whatever that target career, whether you're going back to a career or you're just doing something totally new. And then this is what we talked about earlier too. Allows you to list what are those gaps. Because again, it's easy to kind of go in there and say you're going to do certain things. But when you put it in writing and when you put it into some type of order and plan, you're going to tend to take more action. So what are the skills and gaps there? And then a learning plan. So what are the courses and training out there for you? So do you need to get some certifications that you think that are out there that you can do? Do you need to take a class like Gohar did for when she was making that switch? Write down as many of the things that are out there, and when are you going to complete it? That's a key thing too, because I've done this before where I've written all these different things, but I didn't set my accountability to get it complete by a certain date. So it never happened. I always made my excuses. Oh, I didn't do this. And I look back 30 months, 4 months, 5 months from now, I look back at that list and none of it has occurred. And so it's important to set those dates. Be realistic, but set those dates. Then companies to explore. The reason why we put here target 5 companies, those are the ones that you want to keep on your radar, not only when you're networking and looking for alumni or looking for people to speak to, but also looking at their company. Like I used to always do a Google alert for the companies that I wanted to work for. I wanted to work for Marriott and Capital One. So I constantly had a Google alert. When I saw something that they did that was amazing, I would send a message to either a contact that I had or someone that I had met. And I would specifically say, hey, Flore, that's great that Maximus is doing XYZ. It's really, really cool. Really, congratulations. I really enjoyed the last time we spoke. I'm looking forward to speaking to you again in the future. Again, it's a great way to really see what you're targeting. And then you start to look at the jobs that are there. And then as you build that rapport, that individual can help you get into the door. It's a networking plan. So again, who do I reach out to? Which alumni do we reach out to? Where do I find it? Do they have a LinkedIn URL? The date that you contacted them? And then a message template too. So what am I going to send as a message? And you can tweak this to your own liking. How are you going to capture their attention so that they will hopefully respond back to you? And then finally, what is your 30-day pivot plan? What are some of the things you're going to do? Are you going to first update your LinkedIn? Are you going to update your resume? Are you going to complete the one course that's out there? How many alumni you might plan to reach out to that week? Are you going to apply for a certain number of jobs? Attending a career fair that's out there or a meetup? All the different things that you might think that you have to do, taking that 30-day action plan so that you can assess in 30 days, am I really on track? Or do I need to pivot again? Because maybe I'm not on track and maybe my plan wasn't right, or I met someone that taught me something different. So I need to try to shift and pivot. But what I'm hoping is that this little sheet of paper will help you to navigate your pivot and your search and keep you on target. Yeah, so that's how to get with us. We're here at the Enterprise Hall in Fairfax. We also can go to Arlington if you mainly go to the Arlington campus for classes. If you schedule something in advance, we're happy to go to Arlington to meet with you. We can do things virtually as well. You know, when you go onto the alumni page of the George Mason University Costello College of Business, you can see where people work, what they're skilled at, and so forth. And you can type whatever you're looking for, and it can narrow it down. And it's a good opportunity, an easy way to find people. And I've worked with a number of students just recently where they've landed informational interviews with several people. Hopefully this was helpful. I know it's a lot of information. We really appreciated you sharing your path and your journey. And, you know, my hopes is that we'll stay connected. You can find us on LinkedIn as well. You know, we're glad that you're here and we're glad that you're making this pivot.
I just want to say thank you for sticking with us and just kind of, you know, coming. We wouldn't have this without you guys. So we appreciate you being here, and we know we're over time. So, you know, just make sure that you connect with them if you can.
We wish you all the best, and we hope this is not the last time we see you. And hopefully one day you will be like Flore, presenting and doing this pivot. We always are posting different things and posting events that we have, as well as featuring alumni sometimes and so forth. So definitely connect if you're not already connected on there. We will see you again in the future, and don't hesitate to reach out.
Yep.